All right. Well, if you're heading to the beach this weekend, there is a nearly invisible threat that you need to be aware of. We're talking about rip currents. They can pull even experienced swimmers away from the shore in seconds. This past holiday weekend, there were more than 200 rescues at East Coast beaches and another 255 rescues in L.A. County. CBS News chief correspondent Matt Gutman is in L.A., where lifeguards demonstrated what to do if you get caught in a rip current. Matt, good morning, and what did you learn?
Hey, good morning, Natalie. Well, rip currents are arguably the leading cause of death along U.S. shorelines, and the National Weather Service is predicting that later today there is a high risk of life-threatening rip currents. And we're talking about what is expected to be a massively packed beach this weekend. So one of the things you learn, and I learned after being in several of them, is that they're definitely scaring, absolutely exhausting, but they don't have to be fatal.
Right here, right here. Come back here.
A desperate race against the current as rescuers chase two Florida snorkelers being swept away.
Grab this. Grab this.
Finally, they managed to haul the exhausted snorkelers on board. Rip currents are one of the deadliest hazards along America's shorelines, killing an average of more than 100 people every year.
On any given day where it's hot and sunny, we can perform probably a couple hundred rescues, no problem.
Think about that nationwide, all the coastlines. I mean, we're talking about thousands a day in the summer.
The danger isn't always easy to spot, so we joined Los Angeles County Lifeguard Jake Miller as he scanned the surf.
You can see kind of our sandy, murky water. Yeah.
He spots several along the shore where that murky water looks deceptively calm. We wade in, simulating unaware swimmers.
If you pick your feet up and float, you'll start to kind of just feel a little bit of backward motion, pulling us out away from the beach. Now you have a wave coming, and you can see how people get so exhausted. We're trying to swim. Now we're being dragged back out.
And I do what many swimmers do, and that's aim for shore, but directly into the rip current. And I'm going nowhere fast.
I'm tired. You're tired, right?
We try another rip current, this time with our drone overhead. With that bird's eye view, you can see the churning brown water of the rip current. And at first, I swim to shore, actually losing ground. Then I signal for help from the lifeguards by waving my hands in the air like this. And then, to conserve energy, I flip and float on my back. Finally, I swim parallel to shore, out of the brown rip current, into the greener water. An air lifeguard helps me back to shore.
I think one of the reasons that people get so panicked in a rip current is they think it's an undertow that is going to suck you under. That's not the case.
It's not the case. All this current is doing is pulling you out to sea. The only thing that's pulling you down is the panic, the extra weight of clothing, getting tired. That's where people are going to start to go under.
But the best advice, avoid getting into a rip current in the first place.
What is the first thing that somebody should do when they get to the beach?
The best thing that we always recommend is coming down and checking in with the lifeguard. We know where the hazardous conditions are going to be. We can point you to the areas that are the safest.
This is what you are paid to do.
Totally. 90% of our job is interacting with the public. We want everybody to enjoy the day.
Yeah.
We just want them to do so safely and doing so in the safest places.
Matt, that was such a great demonstration, so important. And what did it feel like to be sucked out by a rip current like that? And also, what do families need to talk about when they head to the beach?
You know, Natalie, when you have your feet in the sand, you can feel yourself being tugged out into the ocean. But when you're floating, you lose all that sensation and you realize that you're far offshore before you know it. So the first rule of thumb from lifeguards is they want to talk to you on the sand, not in the water. So just check in with them before you get into the water once you're at the beach. The second thing is, if you do realize that you are in a rip current, you do not want to panic and start to fight back through it and swim to shore. You want to try to conserve your energy. You want to flip and float on your back. You want to try to signal the lifeguards or signal for help in general. It is their job to find people in distress. They are very good at it, so trust them. Then you want to try to swim parallel to shore, not directly into it. And at some point, you're probably going to want to take a break. You're going to feel exhausted. It is okay to do that. So you're swimming parallel to shore, and then you are out of that rip current. You want to try to ride the waves back in. Likely, you will have a lifeguard there by your side before you know it. Vlad.
Yeah, Matt, such important news that you can use. And so many people have been caught in these riptides and have died. And so information like this is incredibly important. Great reporting as always, my friend. Thank you very much.